Cowboys rumors and some news coming at you guys with the NFL trade deadline almost here in 2020. We'll begin with some trade talk around the Dallas Cowboys. Is there going to be an Aldon Smith trade or not? Stephen Jones says no. I'm going to go ahead and give this one 3 stars. I think he's being honest. I don't really put a whole lot of stock into what he says anymore. But we do know that teams have called the Cowboys about a potential Aldon Smith trade. Now, the Cowboys declined allegedly because they want to extend him and pay him. And when you go back and look at the moves the Cowboys made in free agency, Aldon Smith was the lone bright spot. Now, the issue for Aldon and why maybe you actually want to consider possibly trading him away is that the production hasn't been the same. The pressure rate's been pretty good, but the first 3 games, they were better for Aldon Smith. Better against the run, more sack production as well. He did get a sack against the Eagles, technically speaking, because Carson Wentz slid at the original line of scrimmage, and Aldon touched him down. So yay, free sack there. What actually concerns me the most, and it's not fair just to take away 2 games for a player and say, yeah, but if you ignore the best games, he's not that good. Aldon Smith against Seattle and the Giants has had a 23% pressure rate, which is insane. That is like best in the NFL. It's a ridiculous figure. The other 5 games, however, he's had a 9% pressure rate. So he's been a little bit inconsistent, and that tends to make some sense because he was out of the NFL for a significant period of time. I am of the mindset that if you're the Dallas Cowboys, your thought process should be pretty straightforward. Make a decision. What do we think, worst case scenario, we will get via Aldon Smith on the comp pick market? Is it a 5th rounder? Don't settle for anything less than that. And if you're not going to settle for him, well, maybe you pay him. It's a pay or trade discussion for me. Smith has been, by a pretty good margin, I think, your second best pass rusher overall this year. Randy Gregory's showing some flashes. Please get Dorrance Armstrong off my screen in the near future. But if you're the Cowboys, you have to be looking ahead. You have to go, okay, are we going to pay him? Yes or no? If the answer is no, well, then what we get on the comp pick market. If we don't get an offer equal to that, well, then I think you just hold on to him because you can get that comp pick down the road. So I'm going to make this question the pinned comment on today's video. What do you want to do with Aldon Smith? If you want to pay him, and I think he could take a bit of a hometown team discount for the Cowboys being the one to believe in him, type P for pay. Or if you just want to go fire sale, type T for trade. Let's talk more defense here. Should Sean Lee play more? Now, I'm not convinced Lee was fully at 100%, but yeah, I think he should. Look, Sean Lee's a super intelligent football player. He only played 4 snaps in his first game back against the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you're paying him. He's a smart veteran. He's a good leader. I think you can at least double, if not triple, his snap count because, well, look, Leighton Vander Esch, you're always worried about that injury. Jalen Smith is, well, he's playing. Been pretty darn inconsistent. I heard a good analogy. He's kind of like a bull rider out there just trying to desperately hang on for 8 seconds. Sometimes he does, and other times he doesn't either. I'd like to see a little bit more out of Sean Lee. Had a good tackle in one of those 4 snaps, and you know, it's not that much, but it's something. And you did pay Sean Lee a decent amount of money, so I like what he brings to the team. I think long-term he is going to be a coach, be it at the NFL, the college, or heck, even the high school level if he wants to go the John Kitna route. So I say why not? Give Sean Lee a little bit more action. That way he's able to contribute and help out as the Cowboys linebacker and one of the smartest players in the NFL. Now, if you've been smart this year with your bets, you've been going against the Cowboys because they have not covered a single spread this season. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code you see on your screen right here, Cowboys125. That'll get you a 125% deposit bonus. I'll do some quick math here. $100 minimum or more, of course, gets you that deposit bonus. So $100 goes in. They're going to give you 125. That way, just in case the Cowboys do cover a spread, it's still got plenty of money left over. It's chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code Cowboys125. Let's talk NFC East because Stephen Jones still believes the Cowboys are fighting for it, and technically sure because the division is so bad. I almost gave this the fake news, but I gave it 1 star because I think that's the Cowboys' mindset. But you know what, guys? It shouldn't be. It seems as though the Cowboys' goal is to stand pat at the deadline, fight, and see what happens the rest of the way. The issue is that even in a bad NFC East, and folks, I mean, it's really bad. Like, you're 2-6. Washington's better than you. Philadelphia's 3-4-1, several games, or I guess a game and a half ahead of you. The Giants, we'll see what happens tonight on Monday Night Football. They're 1-6. So what I'm actively encouraging this Dallas Cowboys team to be aware of is the reality of the situation that they're in and the outlook of it. 2-6 football teams are 0 for making the playoffs. They're 0 in like 112 or something since 1990 when playoffs first or I should say most recently before this year, expanded. So based on that, 0% chance you're not getting in. But I will make note, there is an extra spot, and some very smart people did the math for us. 2-6 teams with the extra spot factored in, 2% of them would have made the playoffs. And maybe you're like, oh, but this is the exception. The NFC East is really bad. I get that. But guys, let's be realistic here. What's your best case scenario? You make the playoffs, you get a lower draft pick, and you go one and done. Maybe you get a miracle win, kind of like that one Seahawks team did against the Saints in the postseason. I don't think that's worthwhile because I'm looking ahead, and that draft pick can help me out in a very big way. So let me know what you guys think the Dallas Cowboys should do. Pretty straightforward here. Type 1 if you want them to win or at least try to win football games. Type 2 if you would rather see this Cowboys team just embrace the tank. If it's not already pretty clear, I am all aboard too for tank. Kind of a part of this discussion is whether or not the Dallas Cowboys should trade for a quarterback. That rumor coming up right now. I hate this idea. I have gone over this several times on the show. Other sites, fan side is like, trade for Gardner Minshew. Yeah, well, he's hurt. Other sides like, well, what about Matt Ryan? Okay, for what? We have to be honest with this team. Even with Dak Prescott, this Cowboys team was not going to win a Super Bowl. So you embrace the tank. And you know what, guys? I know. It's ugly. These quarterbacks are bad. I mean, Ben DiNucci was... Ugh. He didn't throw an interception, but there were about 4 balls that probably should have been picked off that just bounced off Eagles defenders' hands. Got a fun sidearm motion, I guess. Yeah, Dalton's made some mistakes. Garrett Gilbert's hanging out on the roster as well if you want to give him a shot. And, hey, Cooper Rush is making his way back to the practice squad. But the offensive line is really banged up. And we have to be realistic here. The quarterback you're getting, not as good as Dak Prescott. And even if you get a quarterback, here's what you're doing if you make a trade for a quarterback. Let's say it's a 5th-round pick for, like, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Cool. Let's say you win 7 games and you make the postseason. Awesome. But do you know what you just did? In exchange for Ryan Fitzpatrick, you give a 5th-round pick and the right to trade down in every round by 15 spots. That's not smart. You wouldn't do that at the end of the year, so why would you do it now? Do not chase empty wins. You have a unique opportunity to get a high draft pick and then trade that pick or draft an elite defensive player or trade down if you don't want to go quarterback or take a quarterback and trade Dak. You got a lot of options here. That higher draft pick, especially in round 1, is very valuable. So I have no interest in giving up a draft pick to get a potentially better quarterback, maybe win a couple more games, and lose out on 10-plus draft pick spots. I mean, if you're trading for a quarterback, you're going from like pick 6 to pick, 19 at best. Or I guess worse, depending on how you want to view it. That's not something I'm interested in. So I say stick with one of the quarterbacks you got. Technically, you have 4 of them. And you guys can get your votes in as to who you want the Cowboys to roll with at quarterback. No wrong answers. Also, no right answers, but welcome to Team Tank in 2020. Type AD for Andy Dalton, BD for Ben DiNucci, GG for Garrett Gilbert, CR for Cooper Rush. I mean, the reality is it's not exactly very good. Maybe it'll be interesting down the stretch. Now, I think you can also help out your quarterback here and prep a little bit better for the future by simply benching Terence Steele. I'm giving this one 4 stars. This is my biggest concern with this Cowboys coaching staff is they keep playing lesser guys. Terence Steele was an undrafted rookie out of Texas Tech. And for an undrafted rookie, he's actually played pretty well. The problem is, without the qualifier, he's been a disaster. There's no way he is one of your 5 best offensive linemen. Now, sacks are sometimes a quarterback stat, but he allowed 7 pressures. There were 40 attempts for the Cowboys. That's bad. This is the Cowboys' current offensive line. Irving, Williams, Biadish, Martin, Terence Steele. Now, Cam Irving, in all honesty, has actually been okay. I'd still rather see Brandon Knight when he gets healthy. But what I want to do next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm putting Zach Martin out there. And I know that's not Martin's long-term home. But you know what? I want to see what Connor McGovern can do. Season's over. Let's make this the preseason. Heck, if you want to try Connor Williams at left tackle for a handful of games, I'm on board with it. Because Williams, after this year, has 1 year left on his contract. Kind of want to see if McGovern can do anything at guard. Now, I didn't think he was great in his lone start, but he was better than Terence Steele. Terence Steele continuing to play is just this coaching staff being stubborn. I know they want to promote guys as opposed to moving guys, but he is a liability. And it's actually becoming difficult to properly evaluate the other players on your roster because the right tackle is just not very good. So let me know in the comments, who do you think should start at right tackle for this Dallas Cowboys team? Let me know what you think down there. We've been pretty negative today. Welcome to life as a 2-6 football team. But I do want to give some credit to the Cowboys and the defense in particular. They showed a much better effort. I'm giving this one 4 stars. Producer Brett says it's cookies. Sure, but the defense showed up. We made a big deal about how it looked like this Cowboys team had quit. They did not quit against Philadelphia. The heart, the effort, the fight, especially on defense, was there. I mean, let's be real, guys. This Cowboys defense watched the quarterback play and went, oh, God, we are in major trouble. And instead of rolling over, they tried. Now, look, you can't play Carson Wentz every single week, but this is good. Look, 222 yards, 103 passing yards. The run defense is still not very good, but this was a much better showing. 4 takeaways on top of that, and heck, the 23 points allowed, I mean, 9 of those were because of a fumble and a special team safety, which, by the way, was actually kind of a good idea by Bones there. John Fossil, the special teams coach, just didn't work out in the end. They were better. Do I think they're going to be this defense every single week? No, absolutely not. But maybe cutting players worked. At the very least, that's a good sign by the Dallas Cowboys that making a move helped out. That the defense showed some life. I don't think they're going to be a great effort against Pittsburgh, at least not at the same level, but overall I think that was a good move by the Dallas Cowboys. Those were the rumors. Now let's talk some news around the Cowboys, part of a surprise weekend deal for a player that I don't think any of us had really heard of before. The Cowboys did add a player. This deal is supposed to be made official later today. We'll see if that ends up happening. There's, of course, COVID and all that type of stuff. It looks like it's pronounced Eli. It's not, guys. Eli Ankou is coming over from the Houston Texans. The Cowboys giving up a 2022 7th-round pick. Normally, future picks are discounted as 1 round lower, so it's a free 7th-rounder, I guess, the Cowboys are giving up. Whatever. He hasn't played in 2020. Eli Ankou has already been cut twice, and now the Texans got a 7th-round pick for him. Look, he's a fatty. Maybe Fatty's only isn't dead quite yet. It is, actually. But this is the ultimate, okay, sure, I guess. Like, you probably get a full year out of him, and a lot of 7th-round picks never make a team. So I guess from that perspective, you got something. He's 325 pounds. He fits the 2 gap that they want. But whatever. Like, who cares? That's my vote here. You guys can get your votes in if you like the trade. Y for yes, N for no. I'm typing in my W. Maybe Eli Ankou will be a great surprise and he can be a piece next year as well for Dallas, but I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up. So get your votes in here. Y for yes, N for no, or simple W for who cares.